Hi everyone, welcome to the second part of our landscape drawing. And in today's drawing, we will be shading this outline that we made in the previous video. So if you have any questions regarding the outline of this drawing, you can visit the previous video and then come back. Okay, so let's get started with shading. So the basic idea is the things in the front will be more visible than the things at the back. So the things in the front will be darker than the things in the back. So using this concept, we will be shading this diagram. So without further delay, let's get started. So I'm going to start with the tree over here. So I'm going to give it a very dark shade because it is in the front and it is the tallest tree that we have. So I'll give it a very dark shade. Alright, so we will move on to the next tree. So the trees that are further away from this tree will be in medium, and the trees that are furthest away will be in the dark shade. So I would say this tree, this tree, this tree, and this tree are closer. So I will give them a medium shade, and this tree over here, it is further away, so I'll give it a very light shade. Okay, there you go. So we have our trees ready, and now we will move on to the mountains. So for shading the mountains, which is on the top, we'll use a folded paper so that we don't mess with any of the other shades that we have done below over here. So using a paper, you can keep it over here so that the shades won't come over your hand. Okay, so now holding your pencil like this grip is called overhand grip. Holding your pencil like this, you can start shading the mountains with a medium shade. So you have to leave a gap between these mountains so as to bring in that foggy effect. Also between these two mountains as well. So we have a gap here and we have a small gap here as well. So we are done with the shading of the mountains. Now we will move on to the shading of the church. So while shading the church, you have to see where the light is coming from. So in this drawing, we are assuming that the light is coming from somewhere behind the mountains, which means this part of the church will be darker compared to this part. So light will be falling here somewhere. Okay, so we have a sunshade here, so the shadow will be falling somewhere over here, and this part of the sunshade will be dark. So we will start with this dark part now. Now moving on to the top portion. So first we are trying to mark out all the dark areas, and then we'll go the medium and then the light shades. Okay, so in the tower part in the last class, in the last video, we missed out drawing the fourth pillar. So I will just draw it behind this. There you go. Okay, cool. Now you can start shading. So the roof, this part of the pillar and this part of the wall will be darker. So we'll go with a dark to medium shade. It's not very dark. We don't have to make it look super dark, but it's not like shadow dark, but it is dark. It is darker than a medium, but it's not as dark as the tree over here. And when you come towards the wall over here, you'll start from a very dark shade because of the shadow of the sunshade, and when you go down, we'll make that shade look lighter and lighter. Alright, so now we will go towards this wall over here. So for this wall, we will have the shadow of this sunshade coming over here. So it will be darker here, and when you go towards this side, it will get lighter and lighter. So you'll go from dark to medium. You won't go to very light shade. You'll go from very dark over here, and then you will go to a medium kind of shade. Now you can mark the top portion of the tower. So this part will be on medium and this part will be on slightly more darker shade. So we'll go with the darker shade here. And we'll go with medium here. You'll also go with the medium this side. Oh, we're not going with the medium that side. We'll go with a light shade there. Just make it this a little bit more dark, so as to bring in the contrast between these two surfaces. You'll give a very light shade. Actually, it's okay if you're not even shading that side. And also for this pillar on the back, you'll give it a very dark shade, because there won't be any light coming on that pillar. And also you can show the back side of the pillar by drawing another line here and then shading it really dark, just like you have drawn the back side of the door, also this side, but it won't be very dark, it will be lighter. Cool. Now you can shade the inner part of the doors, so you'll go with a very dark shade. And then we'll blend it into medium. Similarly for the other two shades, other two inside part of the doors as well. Now we will move on to draw the bushes on the top of the fence. So the bushes will be like a lot of Y's. So you have a Y here, then you'll branch from here, here, and throw some more Y's in between. So it's basically branching from one Y, or you can throw multiple Y's, and you are just branching from here to the rest of the places. Okay, so try to make it look thick. It has to be very dense and it will look good if it is dense. So you can draw random lines in between as well. There you go. So now you have the bushes, and now we will move on to the fences. For the fence part, you will give a very light shade. So when you come towards the border, make it a little bit darker, and then again you can go to the other side and make it a little bit more darker. So again you have fog here, so you are not drawing it all the way till the bottom. So this is like a light to medium shade. There you go. So now we have the rough shading of our winter morning, and now we will take a cotton bud and then we will start from the top and we will start smudging all our shades. So you'll start with the mountains. So make it look a little bit blurred. It need not be very sharp because it's far away, and let's make it look blurred. For the mountains you can even use a tissue paper, but I would recommend a earbud for better precision. Alright, next we will move on to the trees, and so we are mostly concentrating on the bottom part of the trees that goes into the fog. So let's do that here. You'll just rub it. First we will rub it vertically and then we will rub it horizontally so that we will get a feel of the fog over here. Same for this trees and all other trees. Yeah, now we will move on to the church. For the church we will do the same kind of smudging. So if you have any parts of your shading going outside the boundaries, use a pencil eraser to erase it off and make it a very sharp look. So yeah, also if you think your cotton bud is getting dirty, use a new one. There you go. And now we will add the details for the door. You can draw a line in the center over here and just make it vanish. So you can give a very light shade using the cotton bud because you have already some graphite on your cotton bud, so you can use it as a shading tool and you can shade it here. There you go. Let's give some shade here, and also you can shade here horizontally so as to give that foggy effect. And moving on to the last part, so we have to shade these fences here. So you can use, I would better use tissue paper. So holding your tissue paper, make a point out of this or like this. So using a tissue paper, make a pointy edge, or not pointy edge, so crumble it together and make a shape like this, and then you can run it over the fences to quickly get a very foggy effect. And also the top of the fence, you can use a cotton earbud for more precision. So that's it. So we have our winter morning ready, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I will see you guys next week. So stay blessed and stay safe. Bye.